Good morning, everyone. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. Can you hear me? Are we all good? Is it all nice? Hopefully so. Hopefully so. The reason I say that is not because I expect the audio to shit itself like it used to do in the past, but I may have been tinkering with voice mod this morning again after yesterday's fun times on the official Insert Coin stream, and I wanted to make sure it's all good. How are we all doing? If you're in the chat, please feel free to get involved and say hello. But first of all, if you're in the chat, please feel free to get involved and welcome in summer. It's summer. I don't care if it's raining outside. The weather is wrong. The only thing that we know that is right that says it's summer is, let me jump onto Bibby Cam. Look at that shirt. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking beautiful. Looking beautiful.
Yes. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
If you're in the chat, please feel free to spam all of the positivity towards the shirt. Go on, talk us through it, baby. Give us the rundown. I mean, obviously, we've got to bear in mind a number of people can't see this, so we need the words to be the visuals.
Okay, yeah. So it's a tasty little number from Matalan. Fairly certain I got it in an end of season sale, but that will not let that take away from how
That's
good
genius.
it is.
That's what that is.
Yeah, well, thank you, Graham. It's got pink flowers on it. It's got tropical palm trees. It's got a little bit of everything. It's a nice little baby blue and white color. A little bit of everything. You know, when you're outside, you're not gonna. You don't want the sun, especially when you're pale like me and Ginger. You kind of don't want the sun to crisp you up. So attracting, wearing black isn't an option. So having white and it bouncing off, it's a beautiful little number, Graham.
It's good. It's good. It's good. We like it. We like it. Lake says positivity towards the shirt in the chat. Nice. There we go. Positivity towards Lake as well, who won his first ever game on PUBG console yesterday. That's all I'm saying. Did you win any games on PUBG yesterday, babe?
We won 2 yesterday. I see Chucky Boy, a wild Chucky Boy in the chat as well. I mean, Lake manages to play the game without the audio and still manages to get kills. That's not an OP play. I don't know what is.
I mean, he's not played the game before. He didn't have a microphone. He had to plug in a webcam to use the microphone, and he had no audio through the game, but he was still managing to kill other people. Kill one, he says. Still, one is more than none. You killed that guy more times than he killed you. That's all we're saying. So even with all of those hamstrings hampering you, you still managed to perform. So GG's. Good morning, everyone. Welcome in to The Scoop. I did say The Scoop. The Scoop, I hear you say. Well, if you don't know what this is, my name is Graham Day. Hey, how you doing? This is Bibby. And we are Ice Cream Uploads in a true ice creamy fashion. This is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video games podcast. Even if we do say so ourselves, we are going to give you our thoughts and our impressions. Our thoughts and our impressions on the biggest and the best stories from the world of video games. We want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's kind of how this works. We give you the stories, you get involved. And it's important that you do get involved because we go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. Ish. It's nearly 10 past 11. So there's a 10 in there. So we go live at 10 a.m. ish each and every single weekday on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. If you're in the chat, please feel free to get involved on behalf of everyone watching and listening on demand later on. And I say on demand because we turn this live stream into a podcast, a video that goes on YouTube, and an audio podcast that goes on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud. I've lost my pen again, and Google Play. I've lost my pen again isn't an outlet. I actually lost my pen, by the way, just saying. But before we jump into the show, like I said, please do give us your thoughts and impressions on behalf of everyone watching and listening on demand. But before we jump in, a couple of things to mention first. Exclamation mark giveaway. Chatbot should be live now. So if you do want to get involved, exclamation mark giveaway. We'll give you some information about a giveaway, funnily enough, that we're running right now on social media. We are giving away a £50 voucher for Insert Coin clothing. So I was going to show you my hoodie, but this is just a Twitch hoodie, so I can't say anything. But yesterday, I had on an Insert Coin hoodie, and so did Bibby. And they were both, and still are both, available from insertcoinclothing.com. We are giving away a £50 voucher, so check out the pinned tweet on our Twitter to see that. As well as that, exclamation mark loot drop. So we're giving, that's a giveaway for everyone. Exclamation mark loot drop is a giveaway just for subscribers. If you're a sub on the channel, you could win yourself one of 3 games. You get to pick which one you win. So check that out. And then finally, because we've mentioned them already, exclamation mark insert coin. We streamed on their channel last night, official Insert Coin live. We played 3 hours, actually, official Insert Coin. We were live. I said official Insert Coin live the first time. That's not the one. Official Insert Coin. We played 3 hours of PUBG. A lot of podium finishes and finished off strong with 2, that's back-to-back PUBG chicken dinners. So feel free to check out the VOD on that today. Well, not now, because obviously we'll have the scoop. And then after this, we'll have some State of Decay. And then after that, you can go and watch that out. So make sure you check that out in a bit. Nice. Jumping into the chat, though, I see Mr. T saying, Wagwan.
Good morning.
I hear Mr. T's making some recordings a little bit later on today. Is that still on the cards?
It is still on the cards as far as I'm aware. I have already started to pull my notes together as to what we're going to be discussing. So it will be a Resident Evil roundtable discussion in regards to the latest game that's come out. And mine and Asim's thoughts. I was going to say Graham then, but Graham has no idea. So yeah, it'll be mine and Asim's discussion. It will. Well, I'll get it chopped up and it'll be available at some point in the next couple of days once we've had a good old chin wag. It could be a 3-hour discussion. It could be a 40 minutes one. It could say it's both shit and it only lasts 10 minutes. But the only way to find out is obviously by finding us on YouTube or on our podcast services that Graham has mentioned earlier.
Nice. So exclusive YouTube content. This is amazing. It's almost like it's 2021 and we're moving forward. Yeah, you love to see it. I'll tell you what you do love to see. Buttscott Counter in the chat. Yeah.
Hey.
All right. Okay.
Morning,
are you messaging us from a Blackpool hotel, or are you messaging us from a super exotic like beachside resort? Because it's all or nothing with Connor. Blackpool hotel or absolute living in paradise. So I mean, both of them are paradise, depending on how you look at it. Blackpool hotels. Yeah. Grim and dirty, sometimes good what you need. Anyway, Chucky is in the chat as well. Good morning. Mr. Gagad, who was here early on, says, good morning, gents. How are you doing? Hey. Can I ask you all to do me a favour? Can you just go and hit retweet on that tweet just to let everyone know we're live? It brings more people into the chat and we can have a bit of a discussion. Yeah, thank you very much.
Connor says, definitely the Norbert.
Yeah, absolutely. Big turd under his mattress, kind of thing. Yeah. Uncooked 100%. Chicken. Yeah. Was that a Connor story, or was that like a Jacob and Conair or someone else story? The uncooked chicken, like hidden under the bed sheet. Who goes into a hotel? Right. First of all, I mean, there's bad stuff anyway, but like finding a turd on the bed or something like that's one thing. But like finding an uncooked chicken, why are you taking an uncooked chicken? I mean, a turd, you can't stop it. You're taking that with you. I mean, putting it on the bed, you can stop. But a chicken,
you can't stop shitting on a pillow.
No, but that's. I mean, the turd is it's that stupid already. But you have to take it with you. It's there. So that one's a little bit. There is one step that you can understand in the fact that it's with you, but the chicken, there's no reason to be taking an uncooked chicken to any hotel, the Norbrick Hotel. Yeah, there you go. It was when I was a receptionist. It was an uncooked chicken under the mattress with a used something in the backside. Oh, actually, well there you go. That's why they're taking it.
That is rough.
So someone had a bird last night. No, it's not that sort of show.
That is real.
But anyway, if you've just come in from people retweeting this tweet, then you've come in at a wonderful time. Good morning. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. If you didn't see it last night, I mean, I did mention it a second ago, we were live on Official Insert Coin. We were playing PUBG. We got some chicken dinners. It was a good time. Good time all around. So feel free to go check that content out. If you haven't already, follow Official Insert Coin, because we are helping them with the rest of the coin army push towards partnership. Obviously, we've got partnership, which is nice, but Insert Coin don't have yet. So hopefully we can help them with that. So obviously, the more views, the more followers they get, the better. Appreciated. But let's jump into some news. We have a lot of news today. I say that. We have 4 stories, potentially 3, because PC Gamer has shit itself this morning. We do have a story to close things out later on, so it might be back up by then, but at this moment in time, PCGamer.com is dead, so it's not working. Also, something I didn't mention, but I did do a lot last night, so I'm going to get it off my chest early doors. Bibby's had to put up with it already this morning, but...
I have a new toy. This is my voice. This is how I sound all the time. Right. Okay. Flawless victory.
There you go. I'll stop now. That's it. I'm done.
It's even funnier when he starts laughing. He's got that voice. He's trying his best not to at this moment.
Laughing. Yeah, there you go.
Alan Wall is back.
Luke, I am your father.
You know, it sounds like you're talking through like a tube, like a piece of guttering or something like that.
just needed a soother, mate. I just got it. Yeah. Anyway,
when you have got Christmas wrapping paper and you've gone down to just the tube at the end and you're like shouting at your missus through the end of it or smacking your cat with it.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, as soon as I get a wrapping paper tube, it's lightsaber time anyway. So yeah, no, I get it. But anyway, that's. I mean, I don't need to spoil you with it now because you're gonna get annoyed with it over the next few months because I've got a new toy. So this is just what I do. It's just what I do. I'm a man child. I play with things. Not like that. Calm down, easy tiger. It's not that sort of show. But I will be tinkering with voice mod a little bit more as time goes on. For now, though, let's get into the news. There is a lot of news focusing around new IP, which is possibly the most exciting conversation starter that you could have in the games industry. Brand new gaming experiences, not sequels, not reboots, not remakes. I mean, don't get me wrong, all of those are good, but brand new IP. Woo! I mean, obviously, sometimes it's a bit flat, but you've got to start somewhere. So let's jump in and see what all of the chatter is about. We kick things off with this article from Tom Ivan at BGC, and it says, Xbox claims it's working on unannounced new IP that will blow your mind. Exec teasers upcoming titles headed to Xbox Game Pass. So Xbox Game Studios is currently working on exciting unannounced titles, according to Xbox Head of Gaming Services Marketing Ben Decker. The executive teased the upcoming content in a Games Radar interview focused on research the company has conducted into Xbox Game Pass, which has attracted over 18 million subscribers. The service offers access to a library of over 100 games, including all Xbox Game Studios titles at launch, and a survey of 14,000 consumers found that 55% of subscribers joined primarily to get new games at release. Quote, that's why we made the investments that we have, said Decker. We have 23 studios across Xbox and Bethesda working on Halo, Forza, Fallout, and new IP that we haven't even talked about yet that's going to blow your mind. We can deliver all of that into Game Pass on day one. Xbox boss nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Oh my God. If anyone's new here, anyone's listening on demand, I can't say the words Xbox and boss usually in quick succession followed by each other without planning it in, and I just did it. That's it. We've won the week. Xbox boss Phil Spencer said in March that delivering exclusive games for platforms that support Xbox Game Pass was the primary reason Microsoft purchased Bethesda's parent company ZeniMax in a $7.5 billion deal. Xbox Game Pass subscribers spend 20% more overall than non-subscribers, Microsoft's gaming ecosystem boss claimed in March. Ooh, I missed that. That's a really good snippet of information. Sarah Bond also said subscribers spend, on average, 20% more time playing games, play 30% more games, and play 40% more genres. Okay, we'll stop there for now, because now it's going into new Game Pass titles and stuff, which we don't really need to get distracted with. But Xbox claims it's working on unannounced new IP that will blow your mind. That's good. That's one thing. But that snippet there, Xbox Game Pass subscribers spend 20% more overall than non-subscribers. Knob-subscribers? It's not that kind of show. Yeah, anyway, babe, new IP, Xbox, it's going to blow your mind. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Jordan's comment, and it's the first sentence of his comment. Microsoft needs to shut up and show us now they've acquired so many studios where each one is working on multiple new titles for the Xbox ecosystem. But now is the time to start showing them. I absolutely agree. They've made the news several occasions and spent a lot of money talking about what they've acquired, and we yet to see anything from it. We still don't know what that's going to mean for the likes of the ZeniMax and the rest of the games that fall under that umbrella, whether or not Bethesda are just going to keep the Elder Scrolls to the Xbox and Games Pass on PC, or whether or not that's going to end up on the PlayStation consoles. There's a lot of talk. Now is probably the time to start seeing it, especially with the amount of studios that they've ended up picking up. Was it 23? We have 23 studios across Xbox and Bethesda. It's a lot of studios. We haven't seen much from them. So I know it's only early days, and it only really got finalized maybe 2 months ago, despite it being an ongoing thing for the last 6 or 7 months. But still, like you'd expect to see something. Maybe E3 is the time when something starts to get shown, and we can kind of put to bed that they've got all these studios and they're not doing anything with them. So yeah, we haven't got hopefully long to wait.
No, I completely agree with that sentiment. I mean, it's easy for me to say it being I'm not a PlayStation fanboy, but I'm primarily a PlayStation user. I mentioned this many, many times. I'm happy to. I mean, I wore an Xbox shirt on Monday. I can't be a PlayStation fanboy. That'd be like a United fan wearing a City shirt. It just doesn't happen. But I'm pro Xbox, but I'm very much a PlayStation player at the moment, and that will probably change over time. Maybe with the investment in a Series S, but potentially a Series X. I would love to have something to inspire me to do that though, but at the moment nothing is inspiring me to do that. Yeah, I could play State of Decay, which I'm playing on my PC, so I'm not going to bother with an Xbox. I will stick in the Xbox ecosystem. I will be playing an Xbox game on the Xbox app on PC today, but I don't have an Xbox. But the reason I don't have an Xbox is that is the word dearth of content, where you don't have enough. It's almost a drought of content in that sort of sense. Jordan's comment there: 23 studios, only Halo is coming out of them, and that's the bit that kind of baffles me. We go back to, let me give you a specific example. Go back to E3, I think 2018. EA's live stream. I don't know if it was called EA Live or EA Play or whatever. Then we'll just call it EA Play for the sake of it. Andrea Renee's hosting that. She sat in the audience, and it's been spoke about at length in all sorts of different avenues. How it was quite a weird way to reveal a game. They revealed Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I mean, it was off the back of a Star Wars Battlefront 2 set. You had Iden Versio, or whatever she was called, the main character, on stage doing something about Star Wars Battlefront 2. Extra content, more's coming, celebration stuff, and whatever. And then it cut to Andrea Renee sat in the crowd who went, by the way, EA are also working on a an over-the-shoulder single-player story mode for Star Wars. It's the first story mode for Star Wars for ages, and everyone was like, yeah, hyped. No trailer, no graphics. I don't even think they mentioned the name. Maybe they did mention the name. But that went from being not even having a logo to being played 18 months later. Xbox has purchased, forget Bethesda and stuff. I mean, that's 7, 8, 9 months old, maybe close to 12 if you're counting their early talks potentially since that started. Xbox has been purchasing studios for the last 5 years. If EA can go from not even having a logo with Star Wars, and Disney are not the easiest company to work with, so they can work with Disney to create a brand new story in that universe and go from no logo to Game of the Year in 18 months. How haven't we seen anything substantial from Xbox in 5 years? That is quite bizarre. That said, they're not being purchased to not do anything. It's not that they're not working. They will absolutely be working. And I just feel like it's going to be floodgates. Xbox players, Xbox users are starved of brand new experiences. You just know that that's just going to open the floodgates, and they are just going to be like, new game, new IP, remake, reboot, new game. No, fuck off, yeah, all on Game Pass. This is amazing, which is wonderful. Sorry, go on, continue.
I think 5 years is a long time, but at the same time, they've been trying to rebuild their reputation in the video game industry. And I don't mean a reputation that it was in the mud. I mean purely as a consumer product. Like, it's not just consoles they're selling now. They're selling software. They're not just selling games. They're selling an experience. They've got so much more going on with their console. I'd say they've got a lot more going on than PlayStation does at the moment, but PlayStation in first place, we always say this, they bring in first-party games out all the time to keep the tide ticking over with different genre of games to cater to many different crowds. Xbox have been trying to rebuild that reputation of this is definitely the place that you want to play. We have a Netflix subscription, the best deal in video games. We keep on saying that all the time, but it genuinely is. So I think they've rebuilt their reputation from the ground up. I know, again, that's a shitty thing to say, but Xbox are another market near enough a leader. All they need to do now is just sort out what it is that they can offer that separates them from PlayStation. They've already done that with Game Pass. They just need to bring some more first-party titles to it. Is Halo going to be the be-all and end-all? I don't think it is. I think the Halo ship, I do love Halo, and I know Jordan's going to rip my head off for this, but I think the Halo franchise I don't want to say it's on its knees, but it's definitely getting there. You can't just keep on bringing out Forzas. You can't just keep on bringing out Halos to hope that it's and Gears of War. Those three franchises have been going for so long now that you can't just rely on those. The new IP stuff needs to happen. It needs to bring something new to the table, and I hope that's what Xbox are doing. They've got 23 studios. Surely one of those studios can bring something out that's going to blow the whole of the video games out of the water.
Well, they are confident in saying that Microsoft's new IP will blow your mind. So whatever they're working on, that maybe is going to be E3 announcement. I mean, if they're talking about they're working on something now that's going to blow your mind, we know we are going to see Halo at E3. It's going to happen. Yeah. It's fact. I mean, it's not fact. They've not announced it, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Or maybe they've announced it. I've not seen it, but that's definitely nailed on. What was the other thing that they said won't be appearing anytime soon? I can't remember what that was.
A couple of days ago that we mentioned that.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
Well, we know that they will definitely have some big content there anyway. If they're already teasing a new
Battlefield.
IP.
Battlefield?
Oh, yeah, that was Battlefield. That was yeah. So we know that they have new content on the way. We know that they've got the likes of Halo. No, it wasn't. That was an EA one. I'm pretty sure it was a Microsoft one. Maybe I'm getting my wires crossed. Anyway, we'll ditch that. So Halo is being announced, but you can't just talk about what's coming now. At E3, there's usually two different motives. You've got the motive of getting people prepped for now, and then your motive of planning for the future, seeding what's to come. And it's usually, well, there's three different motives usually. There's you can play it now. Just go to your Xbox and open it up. And people go, oh my God, that's amazing. It's there right now. And then you've got this is coming out in the next couple of months. And then you've got, okay, teasers, first looks for the future. So if they're talking about new IP here, that they've got something that will blow your mind, there's a good chance that we could see that being announced at E3, which suddenly makes the Xbox conference at E3 now start to get exciting. We're less than a month away from E3. We're getting talk of new IP. We know there is big things happening. We know they have 23 studios not delivering. Not that they're not delivering, they're not putting anything outward. That changes at some point. That changes somewhere. I mean, I've seen there's a lot of comments in the chat. I'm going to ignore them just for now because I'm going to use Bibby's comment from a second ago as a jumping off point and jumping into the next article, which is still very relevant. Bibby mentioned that Sony haven't been doing much. Xbox have been doing a lot. Sony haven't, but they're in first place. Interesting, then, that Sony, who is right, they haven't really done anything, have mentioned new IP too. Xbox are working on one new IP that will blow your mind. Let's jump over to what PlayStation say. Tom Ivan at VGC says Sony has over 25 PS5 games in development and says almost half are new IP. There's an incredible amount of variety, claims PlayStation Studios boss. Sony Interactive Entertainment has said there are currently over 25 first-party PS5 games in development. Former Guerrilla Games head Herman Hulst, who currently serves as PlayStation Studios boss, revealed the figure in a new Wired feature. While Sony is known to be working on sequels, including Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, Hulst told the publication that nearly half of the first-party projects in development are entirely new IP. Quote, there's an incredible amount of variety originating from different regions, he said. Big, small, different genres. Sony said in March that it was funding an original IP from a AAA startup studio established by former Stadia Games boss Jade Raymond, and in April it announced that it had signed original multiplayer project from Firewalk, a new studio founded by Bungie veterans. Hulst recently told GamesIndustry.biz that he's very interested in creating a diverse slate of titles. Quotes, I think that the games that we make are as distinct and diverse as they can be, he said, from Sackboy to Astrobot to Dreams. These kind of games that you're referring to, like The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, and you can bet that we will carry on making these games because they are the heart and soul of what we do here at PlayStation Studios. But at the same time, we are just as committed to making these quality experiences as we are to experimentation and to coming up with fresh ideas. Sony Interactive CEO Jim Ryan claimed in April that PS5 would eventually be home to more exclusive games than any previous PlayStation console. Whew, didn't even notice that comment as well. He'd previously said that PS5 will have more exclusives than any PlayStation console. So, PlayStation are pretty busy. Xbox have got new IP. PlayStation have got, let's call it 10. I mean, almost half of 25. 10's almost half of 25. So let's call it PlayStation are working on roughly 10 new IP. They're probably not all going to be The Last of Us Part 2, things like that. They're probably going to be some platformers, some family games, some things like that. But 10 new IP nonetheless. big moves, big noise with little movement behind it. I mean, what's the right way to go here? PlayStation haven't really delivered or done anything, and they've been quite quiet. And now they've got a bit of noise. Xbox have been making a lot of noise, but also haven't been delivering. So I don't know who would you say is dealing with this generation the best so far? Xbox and the way that they've been handling it, PlayStation the way that they've been handling it. What are your thoughts, babe?
I think it's tough to say. I mean, whichever one you choose or whichever one you put a case for, someone's always going to argue the latter. So, I mean, all I can say is that we're only at the beginning of this generation, and what we're seeing and what we're hearing is very good news for everybody across the board. I think that's the nice way to put it. It's what's the word that we're looking for? Can't remember.
For pigeons.
No, shoes for pigeons. But yeah, I think that's the good way to put it. I think we're only just at it. We're only just seeing what these consoles can do. I don't know who I would believe more. I mean, PlayStation have always churned out console exclusives. Likewise, so has Xbox. Obviously, Xbox hasn't been doing it as much recently, but yeah, this is definitely. Is it diplomatic? Is that the word I'm looking for? Diplomatic response. It's just a nice thing across the board that we're all potentially going to be getting something new soonish. It's just when, yeah. It's just as and when. We can't expect it to come straight out the gate. I mean, there will be people that expect a new AAA first party title to come out at least twice a month, maybe even 4 times a month. It's just that's never going to be the case. But all here for it.
Let me jump back through the chat then and see what you guys have been saying. Back up to Connor's comment. I've had better days at work for sure. Yeah, that's definitely for sure. But that was the comment of finding the chicken. We won't say it if you missed the comment and you're intrigued as to what we're talking about. If you're wondering why you would find a raw chicken in someone's bed, then you'll have to go back in the VOD and check the video out after the stream. But we're not going to talk about it now. NX dropping in with the yo Poundland Optimus Prime, says Gary Clark. I hope you're not talking about my voice mod there, because I absolutely nailed that. It sounds like OG Bibby is as well. Sounds like you are stuck in a well. Don't know what you mean. I'm not stuck in a well. I'm all right, mate. Okay, listen to that. Grandpa Simpson's hat meme on entering channel. Enters the channel, leaves the channel. Good morning, Madge. How's things? Okay, I'm going to go back over this comment. You did touch on this previously a little bit. Enix says, Microsoft need to shut up and just show us now. They acquired so many studios where each one is working on multiple new titles for the Xbox ecosystem. Start showing them. We've heard that new titles will turn the tide, but not seen anything yet. Obviously, the huge one will be Halo Infinite to start this off, which graphically, it's still gimped, but it has improved a lot from the new screenshots the other day. Madge says, Hyperspace is a new IP Xbox only. Meh. Hype fully extinguished. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Hyperscape was Ubisoft, though, wasn't it? So not necessarily just... So it was an Xbox only, was it? But it was... if it was an Xbox only, that was a Ubi title, so it wasn't first party as such, so not an Xbox Studios title. Gary says, we're working a new IP that will blow your mind. Well... they would say that, wouldn't they? They aren't going to come out and say, we're working on something, but don't get your hopes up as it's ropey as fuck. Yeah, imagine. Yeah, we're working on a new game. Pretty excited to say that to you. Okay, can you tell us a bit about it? Yep, looks proper mediocre, if I'm being honest. Microtransactions everywhere, which there's nothing wrong with microtransactions, but the way we've put them in, yeah, questionable at best. Yeah, the soundtrack, absolute rip-off of other stuff, but just really bad. Yeah, you're not going to get one of those conversations. So yeah, nice. Gagad, cheers in the chat for saying Xbox boss. Yeah, nailed it. To be fair, when you have that many Game Pass games, says Jordan, it's hard to play any game. Quick resume is still the only next-gen feature that is worth chatting about from both consoles. It's amazing, and it's been improved. I hear that a lot. Starfield might be the next big thing this year as well, by the way. And then back into John's comment that we touched on earlier.
I can't hear anything you're saying, by the way, because you still sound like you're in a well.
I don't know what you mean. I'm not in a well. I'm fine.
I had to listen back to the stream preview to understand what it is that you were talking about.
Well, it's fine. I fixed it now. Jordan's saying, so far, there is a lot of content to come, but when? Mad says Starfield unlikely to be until 23-24. And then this is where we get to the analysis kind of points. Gary says the thing is, though, that they can't win. They show off their stuff early, Halo Infinite, and it looks rough and they get slated. They wait ages to make sure they're ready and they get slated. Enix, in response to that, says, to be fair, Halo was a launch title, but with stuff like ray tracing expected to come in later patches in 2021, glad they delayed it. Looks so much better now. And then Gary says, that's not the point, though. My personal point still stands. Only release stuff when they are ready. See, I kind of get the sentiment there, but I would say that they don't get slated for showing stuff early. Halo wasn't early, really. It was supposed to come out. It was a case of it was early for what it should have been, but they were about to release something that looked crap, and it did, and people spoke up, and that does still require praise on Microsoft's part, though. The fact that they went, "Yep, all right, nope, we've ballsed up there. Let's stop. Let's bring it back in. We'll work on it for another 6 months." This was supposed to be our launch title, the one that carries the launch of the Xbox Series X. Mm-hmm. We don't really have anything else, but it would be shit of us to put this out. We would throw Halo away by doing that. And they took it and they said, okay, we'll go back and rework. So I wouldn't say that they showed that early. They showed that when they meant to show that. They just hadn't finished it. They should have been better than they were, so they pulled it back. So, yeah, if they do show stuff early and don't deliver, then that's fine. Whereas that was on time but wasn't delivering. So yeah, I would much rather them not show stuff that shouldn't be shown. Like I say, Halo's probably not the greatest example, but I do get what you're saying with that one. If you've not got anything to show, keep your mouth shut. Which is that what PlayStation have been doing? PlayStation haven't been talking about anything recently. So would you say PlayStation are doing a better job in that sort of sense? I mean, PlayStation have almost to a fault, I say almost, definitely to a fault, been quiet compared to Xbox. Xbox Game Pass, Xbox price changes, Xbox xCloud now coming on mobile devices, Chromium integration, potentially having Discord on the console. Oh, there goes PlayStation. That's something they did do. So Xbox definitely are making moves. I don't think that, apart from the Halo stuff, I don't think they've made any moves where they've really shown stuff too early. I do feel that they are taking a bit too long, but I fully also agree with your comment of don't show stuff until it's ready. If you've got 25, 23, whatever the number is, studios working and you've got nothing to show, well, don't show it. Make them look elsewhere. You've got Game Pass. You've got 1,000 games at people's fingertips. Use the content there, and they've done that exceptionally well. So, yeah, nobody's in the wrong. That was a kind of a triggered, charged question when I was saying which one's doing better, Sony or Xbox. Neither. They're both doing whatever they need to do for their brands at their point in time in a pandemic where you can't even get hold of this console. So, all sorts of considerations. But yeah, I am.
Should always be the case.
What's that?
I said that should always be the case. We've seen that with Battlefield at the moment. There's been leaks left, right, and centre for that, and they're just like, fine, talk about the leaks all you want. That leak that you're seeing was from about 18 months ago. It's irrelevant to what we're going to be showing as and when we feel like showing. People have been complaining because it's like they're just letting the community burn itself. That's absolutely fine. It's nothing to do with EA or Battlefield that their leaks have got out and people are just running with it. Fuck it. Let them talk about all this shit, because you're never going to force us to be able to release something for you just to try and simmer down the fires. Fuck that. Let them do whatever they want, because it's not official content. It's not something that we've shown off. We saw this a couple of years ago when there was a slideshow of something apparently Konami was going to be showing. The slideshow wasn't even real. Someone had made it. Oh, if they want to watch the community burn, that's absolutely fine. Let them do it. But eventually, Battlefield are going to show something completely new that's blowing everything else out of the water. So if you want to let your community burn, the people who are inside it, let them do it, because eventually people who are interested in the product and happy to see where the product direction is going, that's absolutely fine. Let them deal with it. But yeah, it's always the vocal minority that ruin it for the anticipated majority. Is that the right way? Is that the right phrase?
Yeah. And if it isn't, it works. We know what you mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Konami thing that you mentioned as well, that kind of stuff happens all the time. If you see a piece of paper, someone's printed out on an A4 piece of paper, and someone's taken a picture of it, and it has in broad letters at the top a brand name, so Konami in this instance, and then it has a list saying Metal Gear Solid 6 and the next Silent Hill and and just if it looks like a shopping list of what you would want from history in one presentation, it's probably not right, because generally the way the games industry works isn't people printing off pieces of paper that give out their entire plans for the next 2 or 3 years. That's not how it works.
It's always over someone's shoulder though, in like the most potato. I mean, most phones nowadays have really, really good cameras on them, but it always looks like it's been taken off a D500. Do you know what I mean? It always looks horrendous, the pictures that you see, and that's usually a massive giveaway. So, yeah, I always take these kind of things with a pinch of salt. I always wait for, like, I love using the Battlefield one now because I can just see the community imploding when it's absolutely nothing to do with Battlefield, and they're just like, DICE are just like this. Wait until you see something, boys.
Let's jump back up through the chat. Gary's saying they've renamed it to Horizon Kanye West. Where's the response to that? There we go. I'm trying to figure out whose credit it was. I think it was, there we go, Mr. T. Now Gary Clark. They've renamed it to Horizon Taribo West.
Taribo West, Chapman legend.
Oh, see, do you know? I never knew he was Taribo. I thought it was Taribo. I've always said Taribo. Wow, there you go. Maybe kids and grown-ups love it, so the happy world of Taribo. Can't wait to see what the new for a motorsport looks like on Series X. Okay, get you. Yeah. Horizon Forza. Oh my god, there we go. I can't find. There's a really frustrating thing on my stream. Not that you guys can see it, but on the stream chat, do you know, like, you get the little scroller bar that goes up and down the side? Like, I can't click on the bar. It's so thin that there's like 1 pixel that I've got to click on. If I click left, it clicks in the chat. If I click right, then I'm resizing the window of the screen that I'm looking at. Anyway, Xbox has been the best in terms of where they were from, but Sony's game output is still top tier. Might change if Microsoft gets some great exclusives. Back into the renaming, Horizon Into the West, a tie-in with Lord of the Ring, says Magic Man, to which Gary responds saying, Lord of the Ring? Is that from your porn collection? Magic says, why do you want it back? Hey! Oh, the reversal. The quick 180. GG's. Oh, God. Banter.
And I came out of nowhere.
That was lovely. You love to see it. Oh god. Sony going for full penetration on new IP breaking into the gaming sphere. Yeah, absolutely. If anyone didn't see yesterday, there was a lot of penetration in yesterday's show. Go check it out. I don't mean like that. Unless you're going to watch them, maybe I do. Go see. Sony don't need to show anything new yet, as no fucker can buy a PS5, says Gary Clark. That is true. Although Asda did get a stock drop this morning. Facts. They probably got 3, and they're probably all in one person's car on his way back, because he's about to list them up on Facebook Marketplace. Isn't that right, Bib? Mr. Two Lambos. We know.
Yes. Lambos.
I was there when that deck leaked. It was a good effort, to be fair. Made us do a double take. GG's to whoever tried. I mean, that's the thing, though. When you see something that's that obvious, I mean, I probably did the same thing as you, but it just in a different room. When I saw it, I was like, no. If anyone watching on demand, listening on demand, that was me doing the stop and the kind of half squinters. Is that? No, it's bullshit. Because you look at it and you think, oh, fuck, someone's leaked the stuff that's included in presentations or whatever. But then when you actually start looking at it, you're like, nah, okay, yeah, all right. Literally, that is a Konami PDF of have your cake at the top as point 1, and point 2 is eat it. That's what people have put in. It's like... If you're going to do that, at least be a little bit believable. You've got to throw in some other stuff in there as well, like the low-hanging fruit that people probably aren't going to be interested in. But yeah. Anyway, let's move ahead. We have been talking about that for a little bit. But Xbox and PlayStation both have...
Can you hear that?
If someone is riding a lawnmower / motorbike / scooter...
Sorry, that's just my 70-acre garden just getting sorted out in the front.
the Bibby Manor. It's just time for renovations. So if you want to subscribe to twitch.tv/icecreamofpods, that is where your money goes, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me just close the window, yeah?
So what we were talking about is IPs. Xbox have some IP that, what was the word that they said? It will blow your mind. They're working on at least one new IP that will blow your mind. PlayStation working on 25 new games, almost half of which are new IP. So it should be an exciting couple of years in the video games industry. It could potentially be starting at E3, so less than a month. We will do some live watch along stuff for some of that stuff as well. So make sure if you are new here, if you haven't been here before, make sure you think about hitting that follow button. It's free, and you get notified whenever we do go live with additional content. Speaking of additional content, let's move into another news story. Is this one written by Josh Coulson at The Gamer? Says Valve CEO hints Steam could be coming to consoles by the end of the year. Let's stop for a second. So we've got at least 26 new games across Xbox and PlayStation coming. So if you're a console gamer, that's at least 26 new games. 10 or 11-ish of them will be new IP. Can't get much better than that, can it? Steam comes to consoles. What the fuck? That's absolute madness. Gabe Newell has said there could be news about Steam coming to consoles before the end of 2021. Valve president Gabe Newell has hinted Steam games will be coming to consoles before the end of 2021. Thank you very much for the host this morning, Precision. OP3. OP3. Spike is in the chat. I'll read Spike's here to win all the giveaways, by the way. He's not interested in the news. He's just here to take all your prizes. That's what he does. That's what he rocks up, grabs himself some nice stylish merch, gets himself a game or two and leaves. We know what you're doing. Anyway, good morning, Spike. I'll read. When most people think of PC gaming and where to go to buy PC games, they think of Steam. Steam is the platform's flagship storefront, and earlier this year boasted an eye-watering 120 million active users. It makes all the sense in the world that the other platforms would want that sort of reach at their disposal, and according to Valve CEO Gabe Newell, that might well happen very soon. During a Q&A at a high school of all places, Newell was asked if Steam will ever expand its horizons and be integrated on consoles. Newell seemed reluctant to answer at first, hesitating before revealing that Steam's possible foray into the console world will become clearer before the end of the year. You can check out his answer for yourself, as well as the top-notch reaction below. Do you know what? I'm going to hit play on it, see how long it is.
Will Steam be porting any games to consoles, or will it just stay on PC?
You will get a better idea of that by the end of this year.
The way they zoom in on it at the end of the video, that's class. So what that will look like exactly is anyone's guess. At the very least, the hope among many console users will be that major titles currently unavailable to them will be included in the console version of Steam. Half-Life Alyx, for example. The title is currently only available on PC, but would work very well with the new PS5 VR gadgets PlayStation has been showing off. If Steam does arrive on consoles before the end of 2021, or ever, the most likely landing spot would be the Series X, where there's a chance it also comes to PS5. More details have emerged recently confirming PlayStation doesn't always play well with others. Court documents revealed in the Apple versus Epic lawsuit revealed it's the only company that requires developers and publishers to pay for cross-platform play. Whether Steam launches on consoles before the end of the year or not, one thing Newell's comments will do is inspire rampant speculation, which is what we are here for. With people hungry for titles like Half-Life 3 and Portal 3, the suggestion that Steam is coming to consoles could prove as evidence those games are coming. It would make sense that Valve would want the storefront to be as accessible to as many people as possible on as many platforms, but before releasing sequels as big as those. Woo! Pretty tasty news. I mean, this is a headline story on its own. Valve CEO hints that Steam could be coming to consoles before the end of the year. Bib, thoughts?
Not going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Imagine the PlayStation Marketplace if this was to come over to PlayStation. Like, they'd never sell in digital games. Because there'd just be there's key sellers like G2A and CD keys and stuff like that where you can buy the game for a quarter of the price that you can get it on the PlayStation Store. Why would PlayStation even consider bringing that over? Because they'd never play the PlayStation version of the games; they'd always play the PC version. It just seems like it's a no-brainer for Steam because they'll have more money, they'll have more people accessed to their market. However, it just doesn't make any sense for any of the consoles to be able to have Steam come over because they will never make any money again from games, apart from if it's first party ones. If I had the choice of spending fucking 60 quid for the new Call of Duty for PlayStation, or it's on CD keys maybe for £30, or it's on a reseller site somewhere for £30, why would I buy the PlayStation one? It's a bad business decision.
See, my instant questions are Horizon Taribo West, Horizon Into the West, Horizon Kanye West, whatever they're going to call it when it finally gets agreed. We'll just settle with Forbidden West for now. Horizon Forbidden West comes out on your PlayStation. Pow! Yeah, you buy it. Jobs are good and boop. Bib doesn't though. Bibby just goes, you know what? Actually, I'm not bothered. I've still got State of Decay. I'm smashing that. It's fine. I'm playing on my PC anyway, so I'll not bother. Horizon Forbidden West comes to PC. Bib's like, oh, nice. I'm going to buy that. Adds it to his Steam library, plays it on PC, and then Bib goes out and buys himself an Xbox Series X, and then Steam comes to consoles. Can the PlayStation exclusive game be played on Xbox, or do we start to get into this weird world of the games having little icons as to which formats you can play them on? Oh, you can play this on your PlayStation and on Steam, but you can't play it on your Xbox or Switch if it comes to that eventually. That's it. There's definitely a lot of confusion in there. I mean, I can see it kind of happening, and we've started to get there with what was the Nvidia one called, GeForce Now, being able to play your Steam library elsewhere. So we've seen some success with that, and Steam have probably sat back and watched Nvidia kind of balls that up a little bit by not reaching out, not getting approval, and failing in terms of the App Store and so on like that. And Steam have probably sat there and gone, okay, we've seen these guys make shitloads of mistakes, but their idea was pretty good. They wanted to add in Epic Game Store and Steam and everything else. We'll just do it with a Steam app natively, which will squash that, but will get us some revenue, and people can play our games everywhere. Nice, jobs are good. And so I don't doubt that they've been looking at it, because if businesses like GeForce Now are wanting to get into that, then there's definitely an angle for Steam to move forward with that. It's just, how does that work in a world where you've got Epic and Apple and PlayStation and Xbox that all want their slice of the pie too? I mean, the pie should be big enough to go around, but it just seems to be that the money's so big that there's not enough. I mean, it's like there's more of it. If it was 3 or 4 quid, you'd all make a deal and it'd be jobs good. But when it's 3 or 4 billion quid, we'd have to sort that out. It's only a few billion.
Well, most people choose the consoles based off of their investment into it. So, like, I would never have bought an Xbox now, because I've invested so much into my PlayStation, all my digital games, and now I would have to start again with Xbox. I've got a load of 360 games behind me, but most of them you probably won't even be able to play in the Xbox because they're not backwards compatible. So I would always get a PlayStation now because that's what I'm into. It's what my ecosystem's built on. I will probably get an Xbox later down the line, just to be able to play Xbox Games Pass on 4K, because my PC, well, PC probably could do, but the graphics card's like 4 or 5 years old now, but blah, blah, blah. That aside, you buy the consoles usually for the exclusives. This would be a completely different scenario. Having Steam come onto your console and take the lion's share of your third-party games away from you, what has Xbox got to give then apart from Games Pass?
Good question. The thing, to counter that slightly, I mean, your comment kind of echoes what Spike's just asked in the chat. I suppose it depends on.
I think someone's at the door.
Spike says, I suppose it depends on Microsoft. I mean, if they bring it to Xbox, then surely they have a huge selling point, and Sony may be forced to compete. I mean, there's kind of a few different bits that are at loggerheads there. So if it comes to Xbox, does that weaken Game Pass? Because that's a huge library of games that you can get access to. If you've already got a library of games on Steam, does that weaken your need to pay for Game Pass? A lot of people don't pay for Game Pass. A lot of people do pay for Game Pass, but not. There's 120 million people that pay for Steam, only 18 million that pay for Game Pass. Could that harm them in that sort of sense? Keep throwing my pen away. But I can't remember what my point is now. I've just dropped off my train of thought. I don't know. I'll just keep rambling. So Game Pass potentially is weakened by the fact that this comes to consoles. Okay, maybe it could be, but like Spike says, does that suddenly bring people? I remember my point now. Does that suddenly bring people into consoles that weren't there before? I mean, will that work? Could you see a PC gamer that has a library of games on Steam ditching their Graham.exe stopped? It's finally working again. It's working. Could you see people ditching their PCs and going to an Xbox? Let's say it just goes to Xbox and not PlayStation. Could you see that being something that specifically boosts Xbox's catalog? Because my first thought would be the same as Spike's. It's almost like the cross-play element. It forces Sony to get involved. Sony will go, yeah, I'm going to get involved, but I'm going to charge you for it. But could you see Steam users transporting over to Xbox? Would it really be an acquisition tool? Are most people that are going to be playing games on Steam? I mean, and if you are playing games on Steam on your Xbox, do you suddenly get pitched against other players? So Warzone, as an example, are you playing against mouse and keyboard PC players only, or are you playing against console players? Because that skill gap would be enough to stop a lot of people as well. So there's quite a few different bits that need to be ironed out. I mean, it's definitely an enticing prospect for me. If you say get Steam on your consoles, I'm like, oh, yes, please. But then when I start to drill into it, there's definitely a few little bits that are like, okay, I need answers. I've got questions. I need answers.
I mean, I would love nothing more than to bring my Steam catalog over to a console, but I just think it would break the ecosystem of said console. Should you do that? Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, I think it's a win-win for the consumer. I think it's a lose-lose personally for whoever it is that's going to be taking Steam on. Yeah, I'm yet to be convinced.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let me just see if the next article is actually working yet.
I've just checked and it didn't.
It's not. Well, we were going to talk to you about Knockout City, which will be free for 10 days at launch. We can probably guess enough from the title to talk about it. But, yep, we're not going to give you the actual links and stuff. I can tell you that it was written by Shaun Prescott at PC Gamer, because I've got the title written down. Bibby's done his due diligence already. But EA's dodgeball shooter Knockout City will be free for 10 days at launch. We can't show you the article because PC Gamer website is down.
Save it for tomorrow.
Yeah.
It could go for Free Game Friday. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, exactly. It's nice. By the way, if you haven't played Knockout City, it will be free at launch. It will be free for me because I have EA Play.
Why?
Do you have? Oh yeah, there you go. If you've got Game Pass, you'll have EA Play within it. Absolutely get the game because it's ridiculously good. It seriously is good. It's you can't take it seriously. It's not like a proper full-on football level game or a Madden or anything like that. It's that animated, cartoony, Fortnite-y style, but playing dodgeball, dodge, duck, dip, dive, dodge, the 5 Ds. It's that, but with like extra layers of skill in it. It's so good. It's so good. Anyway, it comes out. It's free for 10 days at launch. And we'll be playing it, so we hope you'll play with us. Nice.
You said that you can't take it too seriously. But isn't that what everyone said about Rocket League? And now look at it.
Oh no, but that's kind of what I was getting at, as in like you can't take it seriously. You look at it, it's just some naff thing, but then it has the extra levels behind it. That's so like being able to do a drop shot and curveballs, so you can throw balls around corners and then catch balls and fake shots to drop people's guards. It's, oh my god, it's so good. Anyway, we'll be playing that when it comes out.
Absolutely.
The other issue is a lot of Steam games are made for PCs only, so at that point they need to make a lot of changes to architecture of consoles or essentially have an emulator, so to speak. I mean, that's the thing. If you're playing your Steam games on your console, are you playing them through the cloud? Because that opens up another set of issues in itself. Or is the Steam app the emulator that has basically the ROMs in it? Are you downloading Cyberpunk for PC to be played within an emulator on your Xbox console? Cyberpunk's probably not a great example because it's on the Xbox. Something that's PC exclusive the day before, which is coming out at some point, will be PC exclusive. Do you play that within the app? And if that's the case, is it gonna be strong enough to run a game that looks that good? And if not, and if you're playing it wirelessly through the cloud kind of thing, will that work very well? Because I mean, Steam are going to need to make sure that their servers and stuff are on point. If you're not only connecting to a Steam server for gameplay, but you're connecting to a Steam server for the play, like you would with Stadia. We've seen that Stadia and xCloud have had issues of their own. I mean, this never works perfectly all the time. So yeah, it sounds good, but there is a lot of pitfalls and a lot to unpack before that becomes a reality. So yeah. Didn't PlayStation say an upscale GTA would be available at launch, or am I high? They just said it was coming. They didn't say it was alongside the launch, just that they will be working on it. Is it Game Pass or Game Pass Ultimate that has EA Play? I have Ultimate, so no idea about standard Game Pass. I think Ultimate.
I think it's the Ultimate, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's just standard Game Pass. So if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you get EA Play and access to all of the library of EA Play included within that. I believe it's Ultimate. If anyone does have different info, then feel free to drop it in the chat. Madge, in response to Precision, says it would be available sometime in 2021. It was announced on PS5 launch that a GTA 5 PS5 version was due in 2021. There you go. So there you go. This year. I didn't know when, but I knew that it was announced that it was coming. But yeah. But without the news of Knockout City, that wraps up the show. Let me give you reminders of the news that we could actually talk about before the websites die. Xbox claims it's working on unannounced IP that will blow your mind. Sony has over 25 PS5 games in development and says almost half of them are new IP. And then Valve CEO hints Steam could be coming to consoles by the end of the year. Exciting news. Shitloads of games and shitloads of ways to play, potentially. The biggest one I would say to take with a pinch is the Steam one. You can tell from Gabe Newell's reaction on that chair, where it was kind of like going, I don't know what I can say in terms of how can I phrase it. I can say some stuff, but there's a lot that I don't want to say, and I don't want to jeopardize conversations, so yeah, take it with a pinch. We could have it by the end of the year. If, in my honest opinion, I don't think we will have it by the end of the year, but yeah, we might get some sort of rumblings before then. And that wraps up the day's news. Thank you everyone for joining us for another episode of The Scoop. We love you long time. We are going to disappear. I'm going to jump back on with some State of Decay though. So if anyone is in the chat, has an Xbox or a PC equipped with State of Decay and wants to jump into some games, then feel free to join me as we go out venturing into the wild to for supplies, for survivors, and for weapons to build and protect the community of Uploadia, named by Bib and adopted by the rest of the community as an absolute legendary piece of naming specification. We appreciate it. Nice. So yeah, we'll jump off. I'll come back on within half an hour or so with State of Decay. So make sure you get your notifications set and you will get notified that we are live. We're not going to raid anyone in the meantime because we'll be back soon. We'll raid after that. So yeah, feel free to stick around and we will see you for that. But before that, Mr. Bib.
Yes.
Is there anything that you'd like to add?
Yes, again, thank you very much for joining us on this Thursday. We did have some articles submitted. I think it was late with the NHL 21 one. The news was just too juicy today to include it, so we'll look to include that at some point. But if you do want to be involved and help shape our show, there is two ways that you can do that. First of all, find us on social media. It's at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms. And also, if you are watching this on demand, all the links should be in the description below or to the side if you're watching on SoundCloud. Also, you can get into our Discord. There's an area in there called The Scoop. All we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
10 a.m.
Ish.
10 a.m. Ish. We do go live at 10 a.m. ish each and every single weekday. Wait 1 second. I got mic feedback. Yeah, we do go live at 10 a.m. ish each and every single weekday on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. It's usually around 11, about half 10, 11. But that's because we work in the games industry. We've tried to go live at 10, but work comes first, so we stream around that, which is why we have an emote to cover us for that exact thing. And on that bombshell, on that vein of thought, I will be back on the stream in about 30 minutes. Ish. You see. Jump back through the chat. Quickly see what people are saying before I drop off. Mr. Tito, thank you very much for dropping the social link. Lake says I would join, but I'm going for beers. Enjoy the beers.
Yeah.
Thank you again for jumping in last night as well, Lake. We appreciate you being there. And you too, Chucky. Yeah, I see you. Iceman says, so how many will Graham get killed this time? Well, all I'm going to say is Brewski was the one that died. Brewski was a competitive eater, so kept eating us out of food. We had food shortages. Brewski's gone, and the food supply is pretty healthy at the moment. So
He got what he deserved.
And that is how we end the show. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you at 10 a.m.-ish tomorrow morning for the next scoop, and I'll see you in a bit for some State of Decay. Have yourselves a fantastic day, and remember to stay frosty.
Frosty.